Good afternoon. Hello, I'm here with Heather. Hello.
Hello, Coach.
We're continuing with our series of artist conversations here at Found, and Heather's come all the way from Aberystwyth to talk to us about her 3 pictures that she's got here in the exhibition, and I'm just going to go close up for a moment, and because of the reflection you won't really see them in all their glory, but it'll just give you an idea of what we're talking about here, these 3 really lovely pictures. And Heather, I just wanted you to, well, tell us a little bit about your work and what inspires your work and the type of style that you've got.
Well, to talk about my work, it's psychological, and it's about how we relate to each other. So my work began by being scribbles on white acrylic. So my most important and intense work is when I scribble on a surface of white acrylic and figures emerge, and they spark off memories and associations.
Okay.
And those go right back to the very earliest relationships, almost before memory.
Right.
And what appears on the surface is very often a brother and sister figure, a little boy and a little girl. They might not always be children, they could be owls or rabbits, because now I feel that owls and rabbits go right back into our subconscious understanding. We're very when we're little, we're quite close to animals.
Yes.
Quite close to animals in fairy tales. We probably don't know the difference between ourselves and a little animal.
And are you an animal lover? You're obviously an animal lover yourself.
Yes. Yes. But these white drawings are what gave rise to these much simpler paintings.
Yes.
So the figuration from the white drawings very often becomes the figuration in these. So I choose a figure which I've become familiar with through the white drawings.
Okay, yes. Because these are actually painted on pine board, aren't they?
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yes. That began with the 2020 exhibition in 1997.
Oh my goodness,
Yes.
okay, that's a nice link.
And
Yes.
I'd had a house fire.
Oh.
And we were told we were going to paint on this limited size, and I had a lot of door panels from burnt doors.
Goodness me.
And so I cut out from the door panels burnt pieces of wood, which were quite nice because they were warped, and I sanded them, and they looked very antique. Some of them were sort of only that thick, and they went, one piece of wood might have been different thicknesses, so they looked very aged.
Yes.
And then I primed those and worked on them, and liked that because it reminded me of childhood toys, wooden toys, or those toy bricks or jigsaw puzzles from
Yes.
the 1950s.
Yes.
And I worked on those and found they were quite sympathetic. They were a little bit like icons, so that they had the kind of warmth of childhood toys and the meditative intensity of icons. So I enjoyed working. I love working on a tiny scale.
Right. So it came out of an experiment on the wood
Yes.
then. That's interesting.
And I've worked on old door panels since then.
Right.
Did used to work on canvas, but now I feel I much prefer the warmth of an old piece of wood.
Yes. So what sort of paint is it that you use on there? It's sort of got a slight sort of shine to it, hasn't it?
It's enamel oils, schminke. Schminke oil paint.
Right.
Hartsölfarben they're called, so enamel oil colours. And they're very, they're nice, and they're sort of luscious and voluptuous. and you don't want to use too much. You have to be very sparing, otherwise you become too voluptuous.
Yes.
So actually they're not really paintings if you look hard.
Are they not?
No.
Okay.
They're drawings.
They're drawings.
Hardly painted, just tinted.
Hardly painted. Yes. Yes, I mean, because you say voluptuous colours, but actually they're a very subtle, gentle sort of pastel colour,
you
aren't
just
they?
take off and you paint. And I'm not a painter.
You're not a painter.
No.
Right, okay.
So they're very similar to the white drawings, but they're probably a lot more human and a lot more accessible.
Yes. Somebody came in and was asking me why people in general, artists I suppose, put animal heads onto human form, and was quizzing me about that, and I didn't really know. I didn't think I had an answer to that, and I didn't know what you would have said.
Well, it goes way back into art history, way back into cave painting.
Right.
So we've always done it.
Yes.
But I do it because I feel this close relationship to animals and to fairy tale drawings from when I was little.
Okay. Yes.
And I realise it's a little bit bizarre, but I think it makes a work really work. Once you get used to the idea that this isn't a normal everyday setting.
No.
It's a human being maybe in a different world.
Yes.
A world going back before memory, a world kind of Arcadia or an Eden, a world before your childhood memory really started, when everything was perfect, and you imagine there was once a time when you could identify with others, and when the world was a kind place, a totally different world, a kind of golden age.
Yes.
So you go back to your golden age, and your frolicking animals and frolicking humans and
happy children, hopefully.
yeah,
Yes.
And as childhood was the unremembered part of your childhood was probably the happiest time of your life.
Yeah.
But then this all refers to that.
Yeah.
If you don't remember being that happy, you know you perhaps once were.
Yes. Yes, I think it's a bit like you say I'm sure when I was a child every summer was hot, and
yes,
you don't remember that actually there were probably days and days of wet days on horrid Sundays, those sort of things. You always feel as if it was they were nicer than perhaps they were. They were. So did you do this work specifically for this exhibition, or is it work that you had?
These I did for this exhibition.
Right.
Yes.
And are they similar? Has your work changed since the previous 2020 exhibition, albeit that?
Yes, I think it has. Because those works were quite experimental, and I did use the same kind of figuration. I always had, since about 1980, when I first did those doodles, actually on a white plaster wall, and I realised doodles actually got to where I was trying to express. Before then, I painted things like portraits and figures, and under David Tinker, lots of abstract colour stuff.
Right.
But when I got, this is in Germany, and started to doodle, and we had a professor called Boyce who did very similar scratchy drawings of animal-headed humans and a time beyond memory. I sort of started to do these scratchy drawings on my wall by my bed, and suddenly I realised I was saying something that hit the nail on the head. And from there, the white drawings came and these came.
I see.
Have I answered the question?
Yes, you have.
Yes,
you have.
Yes.
And David Tinker, I think, was David Tinker involved? Was he the chair of the Welsh group at one time?
He was, yes.
Yes.
And he was also head of the School of Art in Aberystwyth in my day.
Right. Okay. How long have you been a member of the Welsh group?
Since 1992.
Ah, okay. So does that make you one of the elders of the group? I'm not sure.
No.
No.
Still a bit youthful, I'm afraid.
Are you? Okay. Yeah, I think, I don't know, is Roy Powell the oldest one who's exhibiting in this exhibition? I think perhaps, or maybe not, is he the eldest? We've got Sue Hiley-Harris here as well.
Glenys not
She's
in
not
this
exhibiting.
one.
No.
Oh, so it probably is Roy Powell, yes.
Yeah, right, yeah. Okay. So your time at Aberystwyth, what were you doing at Aberystwyth?
I was doing history and visual art, they called it at the time, not fine art, visual art.
Yes, yeah. And did you enjoy that time?
I didn't enjoy the history.
go?
I wanted to do English, but it was complicated.
Okay. Better at the scribbling and the drawing,
Yes.
as it turned out, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's really fascinating. Thank you. That's been
Oh.
great to talk to you. Thank you. Bye-bye.